There's a certain magic in the way memory works, how the scent of a dish, the crackle of a record, can pull you back through time like a gentle tide. And that's exactly what happened one quiet evening when I decided to bring the past to life in my very own dining room. It started with an old shoebox, you know the kind, stuffed with yellowed photographs, ticket stubs from long-closed drive-ins, and recipe cards in my mother's looping cursive. One evening, while my grandkids were glued to their phones, I pulled out a faded snapshot of a family dinner from 1965. There we were, my parents, my brother in his bow tie, me in a dress I'd forgotten I owned, all gathered around a table laden with glazed ham, lime Jell-O salad, and a bundt cake that looked like it belonged in a magazine. That's when the idea struck me. What if I recreated that dinner? Not just the food, but the whole experience, the clinking of fine china, Perry Como crooning from the record player, even the way we used to actually talk to each other between bites. My husband Walt chuckled when I told him. "Bet the kids won't know what hit 'em," he said, polishing his glasses with that familiar smirk. He was right. The next week was a whirlwind of thrift stores and recipe hunting. I found my mother's meatloaf recipe. 1 pound ground beef, a dash of Worcestershire, and for heaven's sake, don't overmix it. The grocery clerk blinked at my list. Canned pear halves, maraschino cherries, and a box of instant vanilla pudding. "Having a theme night?" she asked. "Something like that." I smiled. The table was set with my good china, the floral pattern I only used for holidays, and my grandmother's silver polished to a shine. Walt dug out his old suit, and I even found a pair of white gloves in the back of my closet. "We're really doing this, huh?" he said, adjusting his tie in the mirror. "We really are." When the grandkids arrived, their faces were priceless. "Whoa, Grandma, did you rob a museum?" 10-year-old Jake asked, poking at the rotary phone I'd placed on the sideboard for authenticity. My daughter Lisa took one look at the Jell-O salad with its suspended fruit cocktail and miniature marshmallows and whispered, "Mom, what is that?" But the real test was when we sat down. No phones, no TV, just us, the flickering candlelight, and the soft hiss of vinyl spinning. Moon River. At first there were awkward pauses. Then slowly, something remarkable happened. Jake asked Walt about his first car. Lisa confessed she'd never had real mashed potatoes. "Boxed ones don't count, sweetheart." And when I brought out the ambrosia salad, a concoction of coconut, mandarin oranges, and sour cream that defied modern logic, they all took a bite and burst out laughing. "This is wild," my son-in-law said, shaking his head. "But I kind of love it." Just as dessert was served, a towering, wobbly Charlotte Russe, my brother, Frank, knocked on the door. I hadn't seen him in years. Life had pulled us apart. Work, distance, the usual excuses. But when I'd mailed him an invitation, 1960s dinner, be there or be square, I never actually thought he'd come. There he stood in a vintage bowling shirt, holding a bottle of cream soda. "Heard you were time traveling," he said, grinning. The room went quiet. Then in unison, the kids erupted. "Uncle Frank." Turns out, he'd driven 6 hours just to be here. And as we sat there, 3 generations, laughing over Spam hors d'oeuvres and stories of sock hops, I realized something. It wasn't just about the food, or the music, or even the nostalgia. It was about the pause, the deliberate slowing down, The way a shared meal could stitch together moments, old and new, into something lasting. As the night wound down, Jake, who'd spent half the evening complaining about old people music, suddenly asked, "Can we do this again next month?" And that's when I knew. The past wasn't just something to remember. It was something to bring forward. So here's my question to you, friend. What memory have you been meaning to revisit? Because sometimes all it takes is a recipe, a song, and the courage to press play